This is the plaintiff, Bruce Revis. He says he has a nasty neighbor who refuses to maintain his gigantic tree which hangs over his property. The defendant has ignored his requests to trim the tree because the leaves fall on the roof of his garage. Now he needs a new roof. He's tired of putting up with this guy's antics and is finally suing him here and now in this court for the $5,000 he's most definitely owed for roof repairs. This is the defendant, Edward Sarnacki. He says there are many huge trees which hang over their properties, and there's no way the plaintiff can pin the damage to his roof on this tree in particular. There's no way to determine which leaves are from his tree and which are not, and the plaintiff can scream at him and jump up and down all he wants, but he's not paying for a new roof. He's accused of tree troubles.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant's tree branches are hanging over onto his property, and also the leaves have damaged his garage roof. The defendant says leaves come from everywhere, and you just can't blame his tree, and he certainly isn't paying for a new roof. It's the case of leave me alone.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, now you own a property and he owns a property behind yours?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what seems to be the problem?
The problem is that he has two trees inside of his yard.
Okay.
And one of them is extremely large. It's growing so large that it's knocked his fence down. And it overhangs my garage roof, and it overhangs several houses next to mine.
You mean the branches do?
Yes, his branches do.
Okay.
And it drops leaves all over my garage roof,
okay,
which has blocked my drain and causes puddles. So in 2014...
Do you clean the leaves off?
Well, I used to get up there when I could, but I've recently had my right foot amputated and part of my left. So I can't get up there. I mean, for years I cleaned. I never said anything. I used to get out and clean the back, but I'm unable to at this time. So in 2014... I had somebody go up and fix the roof, and we paid them $1,200 to fix the roof, and I contacted him at that time. I didn't document the conversation, but I alerted him, look, I fixed this roof. Could you please keep your tree trimmed so I don't have this reoccurring problem? And I guess he said, okay. I really can't recall the conversation. So here we are in 2018. Now, I hadn't gone out on the roof and didn't have anybody check it because I was going through my health issues, where I was in and out of the hospital. I was in a nursing home for a while, unable to walk or do anything. And then I had to have some work done on the house. I had to have the roof done on my main house. So I had to have some work done on the house. And I had a roofer go up on my house. And he looked over the roof and he said, man, your garage roof is covered with leaves and there's water. And I said, well, can you take a picture and bring it down and show me? Because I couldn't even walk up the steps at that point. I had just come home.
This first picture that I see here, this is a picture of his tree?
That's the small tree. That's his second tree.
Did you go onto his property to take this picture?
No, I didn't have to. I was in the alleyway. I'm in the alleyway. There's a fence there. It's a row house. So I could walk out of my house, and there's my garage, and I walk down the alleyway, and his house is over here.
Okay.
Cat-a-corner to my house.
What's this a picture of?
That's a picture also of the leaves of that tree that you just saw overhanging.
What's this a picture of?
That's a picture of the big tree. Now, I'm standing right next to my garage now, taking a picture over his fence, which is falling down because of that tree.
What is this a picture of?
Now, I'm in the alleyway again next to my garage, taking pictures of his tree up high where it's overhanging into 3 or 4 houses over there. Now, that's where my house is located, and you can see his tree is overhanging my garage.
That's your garage, the brick building?
Yes, ma'am.
How old is the tree? Anybody got a clue? It's very large. How old is it? How tall is this?
The tree without the leaves, Your Honor?
How tall is it?
About 3 stories high.
Yeah, right? It's a big
40
tree.
feet.
It's been around a while. What's this a picture of?
Now, that's a picture of my garage, and if you look over in the corner where that ladder is located, his neighbor also had, his branches were overhanging my garage. So I asked that neighbor the same day as I spoke to him to please trim your tree, and the next week he went and got his tree trimmed.
That's very nice of him.
Yeah. And he gave me a statement also that I spoke to him, not mentioning him, but at the same time.
I don't need that. That doesn't
Yes,
prove
ma'am.
anything in our case. All right, so what is this a picture of?
That's the tree that was trimmed from his
the
next
neighbor.
door neighbor.
Okay.
That's a picture of his tree from my yard. Now, I'm standing right under the garage showing how his tree overhangs my garage. I'm standing in the alleyway. And that's his other tree overhanging. That's a picture of the tree, how it's grown out of his yard through his fence, and it's ripping up the cement in the alleyway.
This isn't something that happened yesterday. This is something that has been growing that way for how many years?
20 years.
How long have you lived there?
I don't actually live there. It's a triplex.
Okay, so you own it and you rent it out?
Yes, I've
How
owned
long
it
ago did you buy it?
46 years ago.
Okay, so do you remember when the tree broke through the fence or not really?
The tree originated in the alley. The tree grew into my yard. It didn't grow out of my yard. I never planted that tree.
Okay. So did he ask you nicely, hey, trim your tree?
In the second, what I believe to be the second phone call, he demanded that I trim the tree. And I suggested that while his roofer was on the roof fixing it, he cut back the branches that were overhanging his garage.
Right.
As these pictures indicate, there are only small branches overhanging the garage.
Okay.
The tree on my property that I planted, the first photograph that you saw, is a holly tree, which is considered an evergreen, which doesn't drop, that tree doesn't drop its leaves every year. 2 photographs later, you'll see the leaves are still there with the berries, the Christmas berries on them.
Right.
So,
Can I ask you a question? Why don't you just hire somebody and cut back the limbs? You don't feel like that should be your responsibility?
Oh, in 2014, we had to pay somebody to fix the roof, and I spoke to him then.
I need you to listen to my question. I already heard you testify to everything you're saying. What I want you to tell me is when your neighbor did not trim the branches and you want the branches trimmed, why don't you pay somebody to trim the branches? Is the answer to my question that you don't feel it's your responsibility to do that?
That's part of it, but I'm on a fixed income.
Okay.
And I can't afford it.
And now I ask a question of you. When you have a neighbor who comes up to you and says, oh, will you please do this? Is it your feeling that it's not your responsibility to do that? What is I'm just kind of trying to get behind both of your psyches on this.
that if the branches of my tree are trespassing on his roof or above his roof, I thought it was his responsibility to cure his problem.
Look, the tree originates, well, you say it originates in the alley and it grows in, but either way, let's say the tree originates on his property, it's his tree, let's say he planted it, and the tree grows, and then trees, as is their wont, goes like that, right? Because trees we don't live in Dr. Seuss land. Right. They don't just go straight up, they go like that. Right. A lot of people like it to be that way. So neighborhoods have this integrated look where trees are going. So the law is that you own, or you own the rights to down to the ground and up to the heavens. So if someone else's tree is going over into your yard, right, you have a right to cut the tree branch, but it's your responsibility to do so. It is not his. I know it feels like it. A lot of people come here and do exactly what you're doing because it feels like it's his because it's his tree, but it's not. Mm-hmm. But if you don't want, his leaves, nature, and his leaves falling off, I think he said it best when he said, what am I supposed to do, go up on his garage? See it? What was it you said?
I had responded, would he want me to go every year and pick out my leaves?
My own leaves. Let me just go through there and pick out my own leaves. I mean, it's just part of nature and stuff. So he can't object if you were to do that. He can't say, I'm filing a suit, you butchered my tree. No, you have the right to cut anything that is above your garage. You cut it once. You probably don't have to worry about it for another many, many years. But that responsibility falls on you. It doesn't fall on him. So I'm not going to order him to pay $5,000 for a new garage roof because it's not his responsibility under the law. Okay? Good luck. Verdicts for the defendant.
So the judge rules the defendant is not responsible for trimming that tree. Mr. Rivas, I'm sure you're not happy to hear that.
I mean, I guess that's the law, but, you know, I'm not happy to hear it. I think the man should do the neighborly thing. His tree is destroying the neighbor next to him's fence. And it didn't start out in alleyway because I've lived there my whole life on and off. He had an apple tree in that yard probably before he bought it, which he chopped down.
Bottom line is, according to the judge, it's not his responsibility. Well, you could say he could do it and be nice, but he doesn't have to.
Yeah, he doesn't have to. If he wants to be that way, then go ahead and be that way, you know?
Obviously he is.
Yeah, well,
what you going to do?
I'm not going to do anything.
No?
No.
Nothing?
No. What can I do?
Trim the tree.
I don't have the money to trim the tree, and I'm disabled. I don't have the money. I'm on a fixed income.
Well, I'm sorry for you,
This guy's
sir.
making money. He should do the right thing.
Well, we'll
Doesn't
find
have
out
to
what
be
you
the
think.
law. He should do the right thing.
I got you. Okay. The defendant's on his way out of the court. What do you think about this? I mean, you feel sorry for him or not?
Well, I feel sorry that he's not able to care for his property.
I see. He doesn't have the money to trim the tree. Could
Well-
cost several $1,000s.
I'm also semi-retired.
So you're not going to trim it?
I'm not going to trim it, no.
Oh, boy. What happens now?
It's an evergreen.
Good luck. Okay.
All right.
I feel you're going to have a problem with him. Maybe other neighbors, too. Good luck to
Possibly.
you.
Thank
Sorry
you.
you feel about that way. Okay. He's not going to do the neighborly thing, Harvey. What do you think?
Okay, Doug, talked about this before. You have a right to cut encroaching branches right to the property line. You can't go on the other person's property without their permission, but you can cut away.